Splatfests are boring. There. It's been said. It's been said. What are we going to do about it now? We are now in the third iteration of the Splatoon franchise, and Splatfests have been going on pretty much constantly. We've gotten a lot of them with each game. We've had quite a large amount of them overall, and it's reached the point where they're not the same anymore. They've lost a lot of their magic, they've lost a lot of their luster that they had, a lot of the appeal. I mean, yeah, it's still a little cool thing, you know, the plaza being all sparkly and with the themes and stuff. It's all cool stuff, don't get me wrong. I like the touches that the game goes through aesthetically when Splatfests happen, but from a gameplay perspective, from an experience perspective, Splatfest just ain't it anymore, man. It's just, I don't know, we've reached a monotonous phase with them where it's like, oh, it's a Splatfest. Alright, let's get to ruler rank and get our sea snails guaranteed, and that's kind of it. Just, if you stick around to the end, just be sure to drop a comment below and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, being a small channel. All of this helps me out, and I would definitely love to know your feedback, but let's get into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get one thing out of the way right away, and that's the matchmaking. Yep, we're still speculating on how the matchmaking works outside of X rank, but clearly it's different than what we've had in the past, and the Turf War matchmaking is a little weird and stuff, so it's definitely contributing to part of the problem with Splatfest, but that's a topic for another video. And if you're actually interested in about that topic, I do have a video on it, which will come up here in the top right, and you can click on that, which talks about just some things in general about the gaming industry, with an heavy emphasis on Splatoon, being it is one of the main games I play. So if you want to know more about that and my thoughts on matchmaking in general, go ahead and click that and give it a watch. The other big thorn in the side and the big elephant in the room, which is really Tricolor Turf War. It's not it. At this point, it's just not it. It's not working, and it's just honestly not fun. It was not fun in the premiere. A lot of people complained and dogged about it. Nintendo ended up trying to make some changes with the whole who attacks, who defends now. But personally, I do not think the theme is working how they intended it to work. Overall, I just don't think Tricolor works. I can see what Nintendo was trying to do. It's a very good idea, but an execution in an actual, like, playing, actually experiencing it, I think it's a flat F. It's just failing, and I think something needs to change. And not having played a lot of Tricolor, because I really don't enjoy it that much, all I can do is kind of just speculate and toss some ideas out there, because I haven't really thought a whole lot about how to fix it, but it's not living up to the hype. And part of that is even also the problem that a lot of people don't really know how to play the mode, so you end up with, for example, if you're on the attacking side, you'll get the other team invading your side and trying to splat you, while at the same time, the defenders are just having their way with having control of the map. So it's not particularly fun when you have those situations, and I think we've all done it. I know sometimes I completely forget about the whole concept of how it's supposed to work, and it leads to sometimes stupid games. And it leads to the fact that overall, it just doesn't feel good. The changes that were done just don't feel enough that it was good enough to save the mode, which comes into question of how do we fix Tricolor and make it more fun and make it more tolerable. And it's a difficult thing because the mode itself is contradictory, and it's a problem of Turf War and just the way it's set up in general, which is, you have 3 teams, so you have 3 teams, but that in effect is really still 2v2v4. So while you're teamed up with another team to stop the other 4-man squad, for all intents and purposes, even though one of you winning technically wins, you both win, you are still fighting for that extra clout of actually getting the decisive real victory. And with the way Turf War works, where it's really a game mode where only the last 30 or 15 seconds count, you're going to spend the whole game actually trying to cooperate with the other team to stop the defenders. And then you have the last 30 to 15 seconds where, you either concede not getting the full victory, so getting the shared win, or you want to get the extra points. So you kind of have to fight everybody at that point, and then you may end up losing altogether because you want to make that push. And that comes with the fact that that's just how Turf War is as a game mode. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do in the first 2 minutes, 30 seconds. You could be a professional team playing against people who just picked up the game. Well, granted, this won't really happen. It's kind of an extreme example. But all it takes is one lucky push, one lucky wipeout, maybe a lucky special or a lucky bomb toss. And y'all gotta respawn, go back to mid, and you may run out of time inking the terrain enough back, and you lose by maybe 0.2, 0.3%. And you lose the game. Literally only because of the final seconds of the game, because that's just how Turf War works. And so you have the same problem in Tricolor, because you, on paper, need to work together with another team, but at the same time, you want the full win because you want the extra points. So you end up into a literal problem of how many times does 3 fit into 2? Because you have 3 teams, but you really only have 2 sides. So what do you do to fix that? Well, you can do a few things, and I don't think really any of these are really good solutions. So probably other people who really love Tricolor Turf War and want to make it better, people who actually thought about it, will probably have much better ideas than mine. But if you're going to have this 3 teams, but really 2 sides idea, then those 2 teams of 2, you got to have them work on the same team and have them share the win, and nobody gets the extra points, which comes with its own pitfalls of then you have 2 themes with 2 different ink colors who will more than likely going to have to share the same ink color at that point. And it really just becomes nothing but regular Turf War. And then it makes the Ultra Signal kind of pointless, and it kind of just screws up the mode a little bit. But that situation would eliminate the whole problem of needing to coordinate with another team that you can technically still ink and still splat, and wanting to push for the win. But that does come with its own problems. Like I said, you now have 2 different themes, different teams that are now working on the same team, with the same ink. Who gets the bonus points in that situation is because it is 3 separate teams. So one of them technically needs to come out on top. So it's a little weird in that situation, and nobody really wins. So while that is a potential solution, it's not really a good solution, I would say. The other thing you can do to Tricolor is get rid of the whole attackers versus defender thing and just make it 2v2v2. As much as I like it to be 4v4v4, the game's online is already unstable enough as it is. I don't want to add more people to a lobby. But if you do it 2v2v2 and make it an actual 1 team versus other 2, then you open up the map a little bit more and you kind of eliminate the problems that exist with Tricolor. How you would do that with the Turf War or with the Ultra Signal and stuff like that, I don't really know, but I think Tricolor needs to evolve with handling the fact that you have 3 teams, a rule of 3, but the gameplay itself for that game mode is really 2 sides. That funky thing. I think you need to just get rid of the attacker versus defender theme, because right now, as it works, it's not really doing it, and do 2v2v2, potentially. Or maybe you just get rid of the concept of Turf War in Tricolor, and you integrate the Ultra Signal some other type of objective game mode, and you remove the concept of Turf War altogether, and the problems that come with having to team up with another team while having to play Turf War how it's supposed to be played, and the ramifications that come with how you play Turf War. So it's stuff like that you can do, but really what I think needs to happen is Tricolor needs its own maps to really solve some of these problems. I don't think you can use the stock maps. It's just a little bit of variation. Either you take the stock maps and you make them completely different for Tricolor, or you make maps whose sole purpose is just Tricolor. Kind of like how in 2 we got shifty stations when Splatfests happened. You kind of use the same theme in that situation. So Tricolor it's in this weird spot where it doesn't work. It could work on paper, and there's different ways to attack it. And even these ideas that I've come with right here, personally, I don't really feel either of them anyways, but I feel that they at least do something, because I understand the concept of wanting to beat the winning team at halftime, but at the same time, the enemy of my enemy is my friend temporarily also kind of doesn't really work in the concept of Turf War the way it's made right now, with having 2 sides with 3 teams. But this whole talk of the game mode and maybe splitting it up or doing something extra special because it is a Splatfest rolls into my final point, that I think Splatfests are boring and just not what they are anymore, and how 3 is making this worse for Splatfest is the fact that there's really not a lot to do. Splatfest is the same thing, and with the fact that we're getting this content drip, it's not helping because it's just leaving us with, again, more or less the same old same mode. I think we've come to the point in Splatfest that we need something unique, we need something new to freshen up the spiciness of what a Splatfest is. We need party game modes, something other than just, oh, it's Splatfest time, no more ranked gameplay, no more tower control, no more Rainmaker, no more Clam Blitz, no more Splat Zones, it's just Turf War. I think we need party game mode, something that's also not tricolor, something that's fun, something that's special. Splatfest, yeah, you want to win because you want to win for your team. You want the bragging rights that your team won. You want to win. You want to get your, your super sea snails and all that stuff. But it's supposed to be fun, right? Splatfest is supposed to be like this really epic transformation of the game and part of the lore of the game, of the franchise, of Splatoon. And there's nothing really fun about it anymore. I think we need new game modes, new cool little ideas that are just for Splatfest. I think we probably should have Splatfest only maps, like really cool, quirky design maps, quirky in a good way, with gimmicks that are just done just for Splatfest, just to liven it up a bit. Maybe have Splatfest only weapons, kind of like what happened in Salmon Run when you get the Grisco weapons. Have like maybe some type of special weapon rotation just for a little bit of fun, for a little bit of something different to add, a little bit of extra punch to the bowl, if you know what I'm saying. Just something different to make Splatfest get that special magic, that special feeling again that you're actually doing something fun. It's like a complete real festival. It's like a really huge party you're involved in, because right now, with the way Splatfests are being the way it is, it's just, I'm just playing Turf War. It's lost its magic, it's lost its appeal. And I really think that we need to have something more for Splatfest done than just getting the same old, same old. And this is where I think Splatoon 3 overall, as the game has been made and is being delivered over its lifetime, is making Splatfest worse, is because it's not really changed. I mean, yeah, Anarchy changes the ranked formula up a bit, and Open also gives you more ways to play the game, especially for the top level players, but not everyone's a top level player, not everyone's a competitive player, not everyone's playing X rank. So if you don't want to play an X rank rotation, you're like, oh cool, I have Anarchy series as an additional method of playing, or I have Open if I want to, just screw around with something. What doesn't help, that doesn't pertain to Splatfest and doesn't help the average Joe out. This lack of getting new stuff, of getting more content, of getting an evolution of what we've been getting this whole time, I think is also hurting Splatfest, because Splatfest they've become boring. They've lost their magic, they've lost their appeal. It's basically just every now and then we get a special Turf War match with a theme. And that's it. And it's just going along with the kind of disappointment that some of Splatoon's 3 stuff is, because Tricolor Turf War is a disappointment, and Big Run is a disappointment. There's nothing special about Big Run. We got all this hype, all this cool stuff, and I mean, yeah, we get a different atmosphere to, like, the plaza and stuff when it was Big Run, but Big Run was just Salmon Run on a regular multiplayer map. It was just Salmon Run on Wahoo World. We didn't get, like, super special Big Run related waves or a boss or anything like that. And this idea of complacency that 3 has, that's doing it so far with the way the content's being presented, is hurting Splatfest even more than the tame, same old of Splatfest is already doing. And I think we need more. We need something to freshen it up. We don't have to completely rewrite the formula from the ground up. We just need to add a little bit more pizzazz to the punch bowl, so it doesn't just feel like the same monotonous thing over and over again. Because when you combine 3's different matchmaking and how the matchmaking is working now, when you combine the potential problem we have with now having 3 themes versus 2, and with how they're handling ink colors with the Splatfest themes, and just the general fact that Splatoon 3 is staying tame with its content, all this added together, you take the boringness that is Splatfest or still Splatfest with how Splatoon 3's handling this new stuff, and you just have this Snoresville situation that is happening, and a lot of it deals with just how Nintendo does QOL, quality of life updates and content drops. And right now, it feels like we're just being left to Snoresville, and it's kind of bugging me out. Because with all these issues between how the matchmaking works, and just the fact that there's nothing really new to the table, I'm honestly kind of just feeling that, like, when it's Splatfest time, I'm just going to get my ruler rank so I guarantee the maximum amount of sea snails, and I'm out. Either I play Salmon Run, or I'm going to play another game. Because it's just, you know, once you hit ruler, what's there to do? It's the same thing over and over again. And yeah, the game can be fun. It can be really, really, really fun. But when you've been through how many Splatfests, and it's literally the same thing over and over again, it's like, yo, when are we going to get something fresh, something new? I mean, the whole meme of Splatoon is stay fresh, right? Fresh gear, fresh kits, all that. When are we going to get some freshness added to Splatfest? The ball's in your court, Nintendo, and I hope that you do something cool over the lifetime of Splatoon 3 to actually make Splatfests fresh. So, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and let me know your feedback below. What are some ideas that you want to see happen? Now, not just Tricolor, but Splatfests in general. I'm really curious to see what the community thinks, outside of just the echo chamber that is Reddit. So, alright, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and see you next time.